Jerusalem, a city of so much archaeology, history, cultural diversity. It has so much to offer. How did the city develop to this state? Where did it all begin? It all begins here, in a valley that is today outside city walls. At the bottom of this valley, there is a spring, and spring is life. I'm standing here on top of a building which is in the midst of an Arab village known as Wadi Khilwe or Silwan. It is outside city walls. This is the southern wall of the old city of Jerusalem. And yet at the very same time, this area is where Jerusalem began. This is the city of David. This is biblical Jerusalem. The whole reason for all of this is the water source at the bottom of the valley, the Gihon spring. Thousands of years ago, Canaanites settled in this area, and some 3,000 years ago, David took it over, deciding this is going to be my new capital for my new kingdom, Jerusalem. He buys then the top of the mountain above. The Temple Mount is not the highest mountain in the area. Mount of Olives is higher, but compared to the city of David, it is the Acropolis. It is the highest spot, designating this place to be the site where his son Solomon will build the temple. And this is biblical Jerusalem. So the archaeological research here from the 19th century identified the water source, the Gihon spring. The Gihon spring is the vital water source that is the reason why people lived here to begin with. And some 3,000 years ago, the Bible documents how in these water Solomon washed his body after being anointed as king. In the 1970s, Yigal Shiloh, an Israeli archaeologist, excavated several sites, and this is one of them, the area called Area G. Area G is famous for several finds. The most intriguing one is this retaining wall that you can see. Who made this? When? It was a lot of effort to create this retaining wall, apparently to hold something, but what? What is the most important public building here outside the temple? David's palace. Another interesting feature exposed here in Area G is this building with the pillars supporting the roof. Now this is a very steep angle, a very uncomfortable area to live in. Why would someone want to build a home here? Well, perhaps because his neighbor is a really important person. Perhaps his neighbor is King David. This person apparently lived a good lifestyle because he had something rather rare for biblical times, his own toilet seat. David, at some stage when he is in his palace and he sees the city around him, on one of the rooftops of the houses he sees Bathsheba bathing. And I don't know what exactly he saw, but apparently it drove him mad, and then he took Bathsheba as his wife. Now, I'm not saying this is Bathsheba's home, but I'm saying this building, which is underneath a possible biblical palace, is an interesting connection to the biblical text. Some parts of this area were already exposed in the early 20th century. Eilat Mazar rediscovers some of these areas. She's eager to find if there's anything substantial from biblical times on top of the retaining wall that we saw before. She finds small but very important evidence for administration in biblical times. She finds an item like this. It's called a bulla, and it was used to sign documents. Finding it here indicates that this was an administrative center. Eilat Mazar argues that this wall, made out of large unhewn stones, is a remnant, is a corner of a public building, in her opinion, David's palace, not less. The problem is there's no inscription to tell us the identity of this structure, and we only have a corner. For the time being, this is a great mystery. Perhaps the corner of David's palace has been exposed here.